Good, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Tell the Truth, Devil. I'm Jennings Bernard, your host. As always, we do really do appreciate you being a part of this program. Good evening to each and every one of you. Welcome in. God bless you, and I appreciate you being in and being a part of this. You're listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. And I'm your host, Jennings Bernard. You can catch me each and every day, Monday through Friday, from 5 to 6 p.m. And we appreciate you. You know, we got a website, it's up. We on YouTube, we on Spotify, we are on X, and we are doing big things for you. This is your platform. It's not just mine. This is a community platform for you. And what I want you to do, most of all, I want you to subscribe to all of the ones that I just told you about. YouTube, Facebook, X, Spotify. I want you to do them all. We got Instagram coming. And it's all about you. Why am I doing this? Why am I sitting here taking my time to talk to you? Because I want to educate you. I want you to do better. When you say, and they used to say it all the time, when you know better, you're supposed to do better. And I've heard people say, well, I didn't know. And it kept resonating with me when they said, I didn't know. Well, I said, I can do this. I ain't got but nothing but time that God's given me. And when He's decided not to give me any more time, it's all over, said, done. But the time that He do give me, I want to take this time to make sure that you understand. And we got two things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the fact that the vote that took place on yesterday by the county commissioner, for those 8 individuals that stood up and heard you, your complaints, your thoughts, and what you wanted to happen. God commend you. They heard you, ladies and gentlemen, and they did the right thing. There were some that didn't show up. And when you get all of a sudden you don't show up for a meeting that you're always there, to me that can be one who didn't want to give a vote or didn't want to vote or too afraid to vote. You know, I'm talking about Eric Sugarman. She may have been sick, but it seemed mighty peculiar to me that on this day, one of the most important votes that could happen as it relates to the people that put you in office, Eric Sugarman. I don't know what your situation is. Could have been a dire situation. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. But it raises my eyebrow, and it raises many others that I have communicated with today, and seen on my Facebook page that they are raising the question: why is it that she was not at the meeting for this most important vote? And then somebody said, well, she wouldn't have voted for, she wouldn't have been a part of that 8. I don't know whether she would or wouldn't been. All I'm saying to you, it's enough to make you go, It makes you think about why she was not there. And she may have a legitimate excuse, but it's just peculiar to me. And we're going to talk about that. Those who stepped up to the plate. And on my Facebook page, the four who abstained, meaning that they didn't vote for, they decided not to vote. Now, I'm going to ask you the question when we get into it. I'm about to go on and get into it. You know what we do. We talk business, legal, social, finance, and political. We talk about it all. We'll go where nobody wants to go. And a lot of people say to me, Bernard, you just out here, man, you going in those places. I want to go in those places. And the reason I want to go in those places and talk about the thing that most people are silent to talk about. This is our platform, and it is called Tell the Truth and Shame These Devils. They realize now, Lee Harris, you might wish to pack up your bag. You're through in politics, as far as I'm concerned. So you have to be very careful that some battles that you choose in life is a battle that you're going to have people that are willing to battle with you. When you came at me, all you did, Lee Harris, was open up Pandora's box. And as long as I'm here, you got somebody that's going to be looking over your shoulder. You got somebody that's going to be talking about you. Somebody going to say you're not worth what the little bird left on the limb. And you know what the little bird left on the limb. And Senator Brent Taylor called it out. But I'm going to be a little bit more professional at this time. You know, but I'm going to say to you, you ain't worth the little bird that left on the limb. And now the people, Lee Harris, understand you ain't worth what that little bird left on the limb. And it's time for you to pack your bags when it comes to politics. You're done. You're through. Now you may get those 4 people who abstained, who really wanted to vote for you but didn't have the numbers to do that. And they were not men or women enough to stand up and just say, hey, we're going to go with what the public want. The public want this to happen. You know, somebody told you you need to stop getting on television acting like a woman. And you know what he called you. Because he said to him, you seem like you acting like a woman. Well, I have a question mark when it comes to that. But that's my opinion. But I'm saying to you, son, you better understand, you better be very careful of the fights and the battle that you choose. Because the person that you choose to battle with may be battle tested and understand that he will fight until the end. And I'm talking about me. You should have chosen a different fight because I'm here to stay. And I'm here to deal with you because you definitely, when it comes to politics and representing the people, you go against the people who said they wanted to help in crime in this city. But you say you don't need the National Guard. You don't need other entities as law enforcement, highway patrol, U.S. Marshal. Look at the streets. Look at how peace and calm is coming to Memphis. I don't care what you say. You know what's more important to me than anything is life. And for all of the people and the citizens that we lost, some of them may have voted for you, but now they're dead in their grave because of the poor leadership that we have in this community. And I'm not going to stand for it. I am battlefield tested. I am a soldier. I am a former law enforcement officer as a deputy sheriff. I can go on and tell you how I am battlefield tested. So be careful on the fights that you want to pick with me, Lee Harris. I say to you, you're done. Pack up your bags, politically bad, and go somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Now that's my message to you, Lee Harris, and I'm going to have a message to you every time I sit behind this microphone because you chose the wrong battle. You chose the wrong one to pick on. And my listeners, my followers, know what I'm talking about. When it came down to me and my business, you don't do that because my business has other branches of the business that you attack. From that business, I did certain things that I decide and I'm comfortable in retiring from that business. But you chose to pick a fight you ain't gonna win. And I'm telling the truth and shaming you, Lee Harris, as the devil that you are. I'm Jennings Bernard, your host. Tell your friend to tell a friend, hey, subscribe to all of these programs that I got here for you. You can go to my uh, website at memphisrealtalk.com. That's one word, memphisrealtalk.com. And you can subscribe, you can like, and we want you to do all that. But this is your platform. This is your opportunity to be heard. And you don't have to say it. You can email me and I'll say it for you. You can text me and I'll say it for you. Because it doesn't really make any difference to me when it comes to doing the right thing. See, politics is a strange bedfellow, and they used to say that all the time. You had Paul Young, who lied to the Union because he couldn't help, because he'd been locked up, tied up, tangled up for receiving the 30 pieces of silver. And you know what the Bible talks about when one who betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, his name was Judas. And what we have, ladies and gentlemen, in this political city is a bunch of Judas. One who would look you in the face like Paul Young did to the unions and said to them that I got your back. But now he's telling them he can't stay with what he promised. To me, that's a Judas. And Paul Young, above anyone, should have known all about Judas and the meaning of Judas because his father, the late Bishop Young, good friend of mine, was a bishop and pastor. He told him about being a Judas. I know that. His mom, a good friend of mine, Miss Diane Young. I know they taught you about not being a Judas, but guess what you are doing, Paul Young? You are being a Judas. After knowing not to be one, you are being one. And you're misleading and misdirecting the public. And I can go on, and there are people going to come on this show and talk about the situation. I got to call in to some of the union leaders to come in and talk about what happened and how they feel. And you need to pack your bag. I hope that we get that recall done. And see, let me say this to you, ladies and gentlemen. If you had a recall like this, the Paul Youngs of the world, the Judas of politics, you could take them out. And as I said earlier, you have a whole lot of Judases in politics. I have had political friends that have betrayed me, but then I know what to do with Judas. I'm telling them indirectly and directly, get thee behind me. In other words, I cut off all association with any Judas individual that I know about. That's who I am. You know, I've come across this bridge of life many times and ran across many Judas, whether they be politically, whether they be personal, whether they be social, but I know how to deal with the Judas. And that's why we're here to tell you about the Judas that you are voting for and you're putting in office. Now let's get back to this county commission. And I have to commend them on the vote that they made this time. They stood up to the plate. I can appreciate Mikael Laurie for stepping up and giving that vote to make it 8 and make it pass. And we're now going to have that election on next year, 2026, I believe in August. If not, I stand corrected. But then if it happens and you have the opportunity for all of those folk who abstain from voting, that's on my Facebook page, they don't deserve your vote, in my opinion. Because when the rubber hit the road, when it was time for them to step up and do what you wanted them to do, they failed to do it. Ain't no if, and but about it. Somebody would say, oh, Bernard, that was just one time they messed up. Give them a break. No, I cannot give you a break because it was your job to do what was necessary to do. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk about some of these things, but I'm going to take a 2 minute break here. I got to check on something here that's happening, and I want to see what's going on with that, but I'll be right back. This thing is going out. Like it get dark, and then I have to touch it to make it come back to life. In other words, it's like it's got a short period of time. Like I'm talking, and the whole screen will go dark. Like now I have to touch it like this to make it come back up.
Yes, sir.
So what is happening when you do that?
Like screen timeout.
Well, okay, but I never had that problem. It's always stayed through the whole show. But if you, well, you'll be in the view of the camera. But if you can stand here, I'm gonna go to talking again, and it's gonna try to go out, and I have to hit it. Okay, okay, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. I just had to check on that. I want everything perfectly for you, and had to check out that, and we figured out what the problem is now, and hey, I'm back. Welcome back in. But we was talking about the county commission and the situation that had happened last night. They passed it. Good, you have an opportunity. And so what I found out to be uh, strange when they reported on WREG Channel 3 that one of the school board members was put out or being loud after the vote was passed. And that woman is Tawana Murphy. Now, I don't understand why you all as individuals, that's your prerogative, that's who you put into office. But right now, you ought to be embarrassed that Tawana Murphy is your representative on the school board. I've looked at video before the vote was made and how she came down there and arguing with the spectators who didn't agree with her. She turns around and argues with them, and the chairman of the commission had to stop her and tell her, you're a school board member, you direct your comments to the board. So you got so much with this individual who's supposed to be representing you, but yet she's there, she's upset that she ain't gonna get it. That money is more important to her than you, in my opinion. Why is she clowning like that? Because you may have the opportunity to get rid of her next year because the vote will come up again. She would look forward to that 30 or 40 or whatever thousand she'll get as a county commissioner with benefits. But now it may only be 2 years or a year and a half. Now you have a choice. Now, if you got and I'm going to say this, a lick of sense, and you have observed how this woman is and what she has been doing, how she's been acting unprofessionally as a representative, understand something. When I pastored, I knew that was Jennings Bernard, and he's been buried a long time ago. That attitude, that spirit of Jennings Bernard, that he would shoot off if you came to him wrong in any kind of way. But then over time, I've learned that Jennings Bernard had to be silent as a pastor. I had to be, at the term, Reverend Bernard. So that made me have a little more respect from shooting off like a pistol every time somebody said something that I didn't like. But I had to learn that if I was going to be what God called me to be, I had to tone down that Jennings Bernard and be who I am and who I represent. So therefore, I toned down that street Jennings Bernard that grew up in North Memphis to recognize that I had a higher calling to be that Reverend Bernard to my parishioners. I needed to be there for them in death, in life, ups and downs, in weddings and funerals. I had to be there, and I was there for 32 years. But when you put a person and give them the responsibility, and they still act like they're a Negro that's on the street and don't understand the concept of the position that most people will go a lifetime and never get that opportunity to represent the people in the position that Tawana Murphy is in. But what does she do? How does she act when you have given her the position to represent a group of people? And how does she act? She act like that Negro that's on the street that don't care one way or the other how she act or anything. And that's the problem that we have here with Tawana Murphy. I'm Jennings Bernard, and I appreciate you tuning in, as always, to listen to what I have to say. I said that, and I know Tawana Murphy. Matter of fact, I introduced her to radio. She used to come on behind me when I did my program on the local radio station. I introduced her to my audience. She can't deny that. Nobody knew about who Tawana Murphy was, but I took her under my wing like a sister and a brother would do. And I introduced her. After I got off at 5, she came on until 5 to 7 I was, and she came on to 7 to 9. And I introduced, I told them, I said, oh, they said, I want you all to stay with me if you can. Got a young lady who's coming in behind me that she had some things she wanted to talk about, and she did, and they stayed with her, and they built an audience, and she built that based on my recommendation and my support. She know that I'm no nonsense. What I say and what I feel, I say it no matter who you are. I have said some things to mayors in this city. I remember A.C. Ward and I was at a town hall meeting, and everything was going a little bad for Mayor Warden, and I said to him, Mayor, I remember something my grandmother said, and he said, what is that? I said, she said, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. And he looked at me and walked off because it was a rough time at the end of his political career that he was realizing things that he had done as it relates to giving a dog a key to the city. I understand. I love dogs. I've been a dog lover all my life. And I miss my latest one, the last one. I was thinking about him today. So I understand that, but I know my dog was not deserving a key to the city when so many people, organizations have done things to help people in this city, but politically you decide to give a dog the key to the city. That and other things cause you not only to be the mayor, could have probably still been the mayor if you used the common sense. And I'll tell you that, don't care how educated you are, how political smart you think you are. If you make the wrong move, you'll end up in a situation that A.C. Warden and others before him didn't get reelected because you did not think about the people. And the same thing as it relates to Tawana Murphy. Now, if the people reelect her, that's on them. But do you want someone to act such a big fool And it's a reflection on you in that district because now the people are saying, what is wrong with those people in the district that Tawana Murphy represents? This ain't the first time she acted nut in front of the school board or in front of the county commission because she thought her influence would get them to change their mind as it relates to their vote. But they didn't. It probably was a hard fought battle, but the individual, like I told you about Commissioner Charlie Caswell, he was one who abstained. I told you about him, and told you he wasn't worth what the little bird left on the limb, and you saw what he did. He abstained from making a vote. But you sent Charlie Caswell, you sent Henry Brooks, you sent the other Bibbs and the Avant. You sent all four of them down there to represent you. But because they didn't do what they were supposed to do, they did not represent you. They said that I would not have a vote, nor would I vote on that situation. And to me, that's a slap in your face. That's a failure to do the job. And they must suffer the burden, in my opinion, political burden for making that mistake. See, understand who I am. I really don't care what the situation is. If Jennings Bernard is supposed to represent the people and take care of the people, that's who Jennings Bernard is. I don't care if I'm the lonely one who don't agree with AI coming in here. The whole city council could have said, yes, they need to come in. If I looked at it, researched it, and studied it, and in my opinion, I need to do a no vote, come hell and high water, you can't change my vote. See, individuals who don't know anything about politics and don't know how to deal with the pressure of politics, they will abstain from voting on your behalf. And to me, those four people who did that, you need to abstain from voting for them come next year. Oh, they may tap dance around and they may sing songs and get you excited when they come to your church and talk about how holy they are and this is what we're going to do. Understand that. And what I often say, trust everybody, but do not trust the devil inside of them. In this vote, Charlie Caswell, Henry Brooks, Commissioner Bill, and Avant, the devil rolled up in them to a point that they couldn't do what was right to do by the people they represent. Hello, somebody. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I am. Truth will always rise again, no matter how much pressure you put on the truth. You try to hold it down, you lie on it. Sooner or later, you got to remember the lie that you told. But when you don't remember, guess what's going to rise up? And that's the truth. The truth pressed against the earth shall rise again. That's what Dr. King said. And he wasn't lying. Because when you tell a lie, you got to remember the lie. When you fail to do what you were supposed to do, you got to remember that because truth that's pressed against the earth will rise again. Remember the lie that you told your girlfriend? The reason why you didn't come over there? That you probably was out with Mary Sue? And she found out you was out with Mary Sue? Well, the truth pressed against the earth rose again. So why is it that people would rather tell a well dressed up lie than the naked truth. Because greed come into mind. They want more. They won't do more. And if they can lie to get it, they'll get it. But then guess what? It comes up again. That's the truth. I'm Jennings Bernard. You're listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. It was an important vote. It was an important vote. And I can't take an excuse from anybody who abstained from voting, from doing your job. Even if you had said no, even if you had said yes, at least you did your job. But when you abstain from doing a yes or no vote, that says to me you're too weak to be an elected official in that office. Or you done got caught up with the big old, good old boys and girls and you just play the game. See, you can only play the game of life. You can just deal with it for so long, but it'll catch up. And it'll reach up and grab you by the throat. And it will remind you of the lie that you told instead of the truth. And to every one of them, Caswell and the others, you know what you did. You either were supporting Lee Nothing Harris, your county mayor. So therefore, you wanted to show him the support that you wouldn't vote at all. But guess what? 8 other the commissioners, they stood up to the plate. They did what was necessary, and that was to represent their people that they supposed to represent. But they decided to abstain. What do you say about that? You can give me a call, 901-288-5779. Give me your opinion. Or you can, as always, I got my tech person here in the studio with me, and I was telling him about how small my fonts are. And that when you type, I have to lean forward and try to make out what he's laughing over there because he knows. Come over there and get on that microphone. Go over there and sit on there. I want to introduce him to you. Just go over there to that seat over there. This young man is very knowledgeable. He's a young man that is doing his thing, and I want to make sure that I put him on, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about his business. I want to make sure I throw some light on him so you can see him over here as well, because it's important for us to support each other. And I'm gonna throw him up on the screen here in a minute with me, and I was shocked him. I got him over here, and he didn't realize I was gonna do this, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna introduce you to this young man who is well knowledgeable in podcasting and doing something. I'll make sure I got the right, get the split screen here. Well, I'm on the other split screen. Let me go back here. There he is there. But I got to get the right split screen here. What am I doing? Okay, here. All right, there he is. Kind of move over a little bit so you can get into the camera view there. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pause for the call just for a minute. Introduce you to this young man here. Is very knowledgeable. He's the one that got me on Facebook, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. And we want you to subscribe to that. I keep saying that I want you to subscribe to it because it's important. And I'm going to introduce him, let him introduce himself, make sure his mic is on, and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello, everyone. My name is Acavius. I run multiple IT businesses, as well as helping Mr. Bernard with the technology here for the podcast.
All right, and he's doing a good job. You can see exactly what he's doing, and he's a young man that's starting his business. Tell us a little bit about your business.
So we just released our smart home solution business. We're going to be advertising here in Memphis. We're working on a couple of projects right now for security, smart homes for Alexa, as well as I'm teaching currently at TCI. I'm the director of IT, so there's a lot of great things coming with our community. Trying to get a lot more people into technology. So I have my master's in computer science as well as my bachelor's in cybersecurity. I've been doing IT since the age of 8. So a lot of people thought I was weird, but I just like technology.
Oh yeah, well let me tell you something. He's sitting up here, ladies and gentlemen, and he's trying to get me to know how to go from one Spotify to YouTube and all of that. Y'all got to understand it now. My day back in the day, we didn't have all this technology, but I kind of kept up a little bit. And at this age that I'm at now, I'm learning all of this. And you know me, when I do it right, I do it large. I don't play with what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to help the people. So, yes, we're building this studio, and I'm doing it with the help of this young man who I was introduced by a good friend of mine, uh, Dr. Frederick Tappan. Dr. Tappan is a good friend of mine, and he told me I got the perfect young man that can help you with the business. I'm saying all of that to say that you teach classes as well on this type of technology, right?
Yes, sir.
So if somebody was interested in attending your class and being part and learner, then I'm gonna be one of your students here, okay?
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now. I'm gonna be one of your students because I want to continue to build and build and build and get to the point we get out of this studio and have us a studio all by itself. And
Yes, sir.
that's my vision, and I will stop having visions and dreams until they lay me down for rest. I'm going to continue to try to thrive and be. Tell us how they can contact you if
Um,
they're interested in getting into uh, this technology.
so they can stop by at the Hickory Ridge Mall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll get the phone number so we can post on social media to contact our enrollment specialist. But you're more than welcome to stop by, learn a little bit more about the program. We got a lot of great things coming, especially with the technology side, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in our community don't know about technology and how it can really change your life as a career as well as generational wealth. That's where we're heading right now with AI and robotics. Even from a business standpoint, you got to understand how to use technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even when you want to scale up a business, there's a huge technology aspect to it. That's what me and my team, as well as at the school that I'm teaching, because it's not just me, it's a lot of people involved that I've handpicked and trained to
Mm-hmm.
help with getting into technology. Um, Especially with like right now, right? You got so many different avenues and so many different softwares that just play into live streaming that a lot of people don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I'll give you the information to post on your social media, as well as our company if they want us to stop by. Even residential, if you need a security camera or like renovating your home office or need us to stop by and take a look at your Wi-Fi, feel free to contact us.
Well, right now that since you're doing this for me, and I will call you, and he don't mind you calling him. I have, ladies and gentlemen, I have something that pop on my mind, and he'll look down and see that it's me calling, and he answer right away. I say, hey, it was something about the website just the other night, and I said, well, what if we change this? And you can go to that website and look at some of his work. He's just getting started on my website. So it's nice, but he has so many other buttons that I want him to install. There's a button at the top I want him to put uh, from the desk of Jennings Bernard or from something like that. You can call it. And I'm going to make my comments as I see things on issues that you can go to my website and see what my opinion is as it relates to national, international things that are happening. Because in this day and time, it's just as the way technology is changing, politics is changing. And if I told you on yesterday, China said that if the United States think that they can attack China, we got bombs and one missile that has 61 nuclear missiles inside of that that has the technology to spread all over the United States. That's what China said. So it is incumbent upon you to find out what's going on and who we have in the White House and are they playing with your life. You have to get to the point you understand politics in this day and time, and you need to understand what this young man is doing now. You know, he got so much technology, some things he do. I may get in my hand, we got him build me an airplane. I don't know. I'm just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. But tell us some of the courses uh, that you teach as it relates to things that may come up that I need to say, well, I want to take a course just on this. What are some of the courses that you can teach? Can you teach podcasting?
Yeah.
Is that something you're gonna do?
It's going to be a little bit more like as a special course, right?
Right.
But right now, we have the IT support desk, basically meaning that if you go through the course, you'll be getting your certification in CompTIA A plus,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of like the beginning of like what I'm doing here, right? Like
Right.
help desk. Like you got an issue with a monitor or whatever, which I
Mm-hmm.
saw. Like you can like you'll have someone to be able to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that just opens the door to technology. You can do so many different things a lot of people don't know,
Mm-hmm.
which I found out the hard way with investing over 100K into my education. But you got A plus. We're spinning up Net plus, which is networking. That's a huge field. That basically connects you to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone needs that in their business or home. Now you got cloud computing, which I love. Basically, moving a system from on-prem, we call it,
Mm-hmm.
to the cloud. Because everything's hosted in the cloud, which is like a huge data center. Then you got security, which I really enjoy doing, which is learning about like attacks, which you were just talking about, because like now with technology and the way we are, like you can bring down a whole entire country with a small team, like cyber warfare now. So you'll be learning about how to protect that and also how to reverse engineer.
Okay.
That's a very heavy course. And then we got software engineering, which me and my team we specialize in creating apps.
Mm-hmm.
I went and got my master's in artificial intelligence, which is the way of the future. Which I kind of told you a little bit on the phone
Right.
about, which is a little sensitive about what we built from the ground up, which me and my team developed. Um, but those are just some of the courses. But even for like people who don't want to make a career, just learning about the computer and how to protect yourself, I'm spinning up courses on that, which we're going to be teaching. Like what do you look for when you're clicking an email, right? That
Mm-hmm.
happens a lot when people get their information stolen. So how do you protect against that? What are you looking for? How do you know if an email is real? Even using your debit card, like what do you use and how do you make sure you're secure when using your debit card, right?
Right.
Um, these are a lot of courses that I want to bring out here to teach people and educate people on technology. It's a very dangerous game because we're all connected on the internet now.
Oh
So
yeah.
understanding that and protecting yourself against that is huge.
Well, let me ask you: are you going to enter into? Because I have real concern about learning how to edit videos.
Hmm.
Are y'all going to be going in that field as well?
Yes, sir. I am working with a lot of people right now and bringing a lot of talent here to Memphis to help me in this because, especially for younger kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Streaming is huge, like Twitch and like live streaming on YouTube. So
Right.
I want to get them into it at an early age and see what they can do. Even gaming, gaming, you can make an entire career off of games,
Mm.
making games, playing games. So that's a course that I want to teach also. But podcast and video editing is huge. So I want to bring that out here, not as far as like from a school standpoint, but just something on the side, like to get our kids into it and introduce them to the technology that other people have, right?
Right.
So yeah, like there's a lot of classes that we want to get out there for our community, as well as making it a career, but something as a hobby. You don't have to go to school to learn technology, or well, you don't have to go a career path to learn technology, but if you just want to learn how to use a computer or make videos or set up podcasts or like even downloading software and stuff, you definitely stop by. Like,
Okay. Well, what about this? I've seen a lot of people who create apps.
mhm.
Uh, is that something you're going to look at in the future?
Oh yes, sir.
Building, knowing how to create an app.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I want them like my goal, which we talked about at the school, is that whoever comes through this course, um, no matter what you've been through in life, we're no one to judge, right?
Right.
Everyone deserves a second chance, and I want to get people into technology, but also make sure that the course is something that is recognized everywhere.
Right.
And software engineering is one of the best fields in technology, especially like a lot of people have the misconception that software engineering is AI. Artificial intelligence and building artificial intelligence products are completely different from software engineering. So, like doing the software engineering course is going to open the doors to a lot of people to be able to make apps as well as websites. I don't want to get too much into it
Right.
about front end and back end and full stack, but yeah, like we are definitely releasing that.
And let me say this: the name, the different uh, program you got me set on uh, from the YouTube, and tell them what direction you taking me to build bigger and better audience. Matter of fact, you all subscribe to all of these different platforms that he finna tell you that he got me on already.
Yes, sir. So I have you on YouTube, X, Spotify. So we download the podcast and release them as soon as we're finished. They're right up there live, so you can listen to. Instagram, we're setting up, and Facebook right now.
Mm.
I don't know if you want to go on Twitch, but we can talk about that. But
Okay.
yeah,
Twitch. What is Twitch? That's the first time I heard that.
Twitch is a huge platform that you see like a lot of Twitch streamers they call them.
Mm-hmm.
So Kai Sanat, Duke Dennis, and there's a lot of people on there. And like I said, like the younger generation, they're on there and they're making a living right now,
Mm-hmm.
just streaming on their computers. So let's get some more kids out here in Memphis on there.
All right, sounds
Yeah.
good to me. And give them your information again. What is your business called?
My business is called Data IT Geek. So, like I said, we're doing smart home solutions as well as businesses. We're finishing up on the website to get it up and presentable for everyone to come and take a look at. As well as I am teaching at Temperature Control Institute over located in the Hickory Ridge Mall.
All right. You've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. And I brought my technology person. He was sitting here and he's monitoring and looking at some things. And we definitely want you to subscribe to all of those entities that he just named and more that we are bringing. Matter of fact, go to my Facebook page right now and you'll be able to see us. Go to YouTube, you'll be able to see us. Go to X, you'll be able to see us. And I want all of y'all to help us to build what I'm trying to build here for you and the community. I said to you on yesterday, what is the truest or any organization that you can put your opinion on and discuss the things locally, internationally, that really going to help black people? What I'm going to do is bring the specialists. I used to have, when I was on the radio, I used to have the My doctor, on every Thursday, he would come in and talk about medical and talk about diabetes. He was talk about heart problems, and he's a general practitioner all around, and that's Dr. Ralph Taylor. We gonna get him back in and have him to come in and do that. We used to talk legal. I used to bring lawyers in and would answer your question. And we're building all that up back again to be able to say, if you got a legal question, whether it be about an accident, whether it be of a criminal charge, civil charges, we're going to bring civil lawyers in to come in and say, if you have an accident, give me a call. And this was all about providing the information for you, just like I'm doing right now. See, this young man is too good to sit on and not share. See, I'm not that type of person that would be envious and not want to help somebody to spread an individual that you can go and pay thousands of dollars to from a big name source that's doing what he's doing. But if you look at that big name, behind that big name is a person just like this young man that's doing the work. You know, you go to a restaurant and you sit there and say, my. I used to do it when I would go to a soul food restaurant. And man, I used to love, and some of them may not agree, man, I used to love that chitlin over at Four-Way Grill with that hot sauce and spaghetti and that cornbread and and slaw. And I used to say this, ladies and gentlemen, I used to say, y'all go back there and tell my big mama. I know she's been dead for about 4 years. Go back there and tell my big mama I'm out here. And they said, what do you mean? Tell your big mama. I said, whoever washed these chitlins, whoever cooked this spaghetti, whoever made this cornbread, they got my big mama recipe. And they would fall out and laugh about that. Because I'm saying to you, if you're good at what you do, and I sit and listen and I watch, this young man is a perfect gentleman. This young man, every time I tell him he don't have to do it, but he do it, is yes, sir. Yes, sir, Miss Bernard. Yes, sir. And I understand. That's respect. I understand. But when you can see a man that's genuinely has been raised right and trying to get something going for himself, I'm 100% with him. I'm going to stand by him, and he stand with me, and he tell me, like I called him and told him something earlier about my website. I think if you bring this down and do it this way, he said, hold on, Miss Bernard. Now, I understand what you're saying, but that won't look right. Man, that's okay. You the man. You doing this. I'm just giving you my opinion. And some of my opinion that he said, oh yeah, that's great. What I'm saying to you is that he listened. Again, we need to get behind young people who are trying to make a difference in their lives as well as our lives and make a difference. I'm going to do that. No matter whether I'm sitting in this chair, whether it be in this studio, or whether it be in where I want to go, to have a whole building that deals with this, what I'm doing, to eventually get a radio station, eventually get a television station. This dream will not die because that's the dream I've had for a long time ago. Could have had a radio station that it was going to be given to me by way of a big church here. And I was excited about it, and I told someone else about it that was in the radio business. And then we was offering this amount of money, but they gave double the amount, and they ended up with that radio station. I've learned that there's certain things you don't reveal to other people. But see, it was God's way of showing me that every now and then what you're working on, you don't tell it in detail. I went out in detail and I lost that radio station. But that's okay. What meant for you, you're going to get. no matter what's in life. And this young man here, I took this time in my spirit while I was talking politics here. And I know you love for me to talk politics and business and legal and all that, but my spirit told me to bring him forth and let him talk to you. He has a vast knowledge of what you need. Some of you sitting back and you're doing it on your phone, but you'll be amazed to what you can do. I took a computer before the internet radio was popular. I took two computers. I took a mixing board and 4 microphones and started an internet radio station. And right behind this young man on the wall, you'll see an image of me, and it says Real Talk. And that was the internet radio station that I called all day, Monday through Friday. It was R&B. On Saturday, it was blues. And on Sunday, it was all gospel and preaching. We did that before anybody else thought about that concept, because the vision came to me through my spirit to do that. The underground rappers who didn't have an opportunity to get their music listened, I allowed them to go from 7 o'clock at night when I got off the radio to do their underground rap music. And they used to be all over the parking lot. I had an opportunity, one of my DJs had Bannon out of Mississippi. Uh, he was one. I can't think his first name. Forgive me for not thinking about what's his name, Bannon. He was there, and he was hot, one of the biggest things then. But it all came about. I had a friend of mine that brought the blues singer, uh, Bobby Rush, had come through and was on this internet radio station. And I interviewed him. I interviewed a lot of big celebrities because of the idea that my spirit led me to believe. And I will get there again, but I'm doing this. I got these computers in here and got it set up real simple, but you got to have the knowledge to know how to do it. And with this young man and with others who have helped me along the way, I'm here doing this now, created from my telephone to now what you got here, and you see there are several other positions in here that I can interview 3 people at a time because of that desire to do what I want to do. I'm Jennings Bernard. You've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. You tell a friend to tell a friend that tell the truth and shame the devil is going to do just that, to make a difference in your life. And let me say this to you. If you know something, you need to tell something, give me a call as it relates to what's going on politically, socially in this community. If you want to talk about it, we're going to get to the point that if you do a video on my Facebook page and you send that video to me, this gentleman right here will be able to put that video up as to what's happening. Soon you send it to me, I send it to him, bam, it's on my Facebook, on the website. And we'll be talking to you from that website. We'll be going out to City Hall and other meetings and taking videos and editing them and putting them up on the website. You have a platform, ladies and gentlemen. It's yours. It's yours to work with it. It's yours to be a part of what's going on in this city. As always, I really do appreciate you, and I appreciate you, sir, for being here and being a part. I hope you got that number. He's going to give me the information. I'm going to post it, and he's going to give me something that I can post on my timeline. We'll have his information, and hey, take time. Stop and get away from that television and create you something like everybody else is doing out here, and he can set you on the right path. As always, my grandmother used to say, if it's the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, We'll see you on tomorrow. But remember what I said. I always say trust everyone, but do not trust the devil inside of them. Again, God bless you. Take care. I have enjoyed being with you today, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to us today and what we had to say. Politician, the time is up. It's time for a new sheriff in town, and it's going to be the people who put you in office. If you don't do right by them, they're coming at you, and we'll see the results of what you didn't do or what you did come next year, if God's willing. Take care. God bless you. Until we, as I used to say, assemble again. Take care of yourself. I'm Jennings Bernard. Have a great evening.